You want to say right now that you couldn't say before the election, any observations or comments you had to hold back on then, but now might be able to tell Ohioans?
No, I think I was fairly candid during the campaign throughout the course of my tenure, so I don't think there's anything that I would say now that I haven't been willing to say in the past.
During the campaign you said it wouldn't be good to raise taxes. Do you really think that Ohio can get by, fill this $4 to $8 billion hole without a tax hike, knowing that we probably can't get another bailout from Washington?
Well, on election night, I felt a heavy burden lifted off my shoulders. It's a burden that I felt for the years that I was in this office. Because I understood that there are about 11.4 million men, women, and children who are depending upon the decisions that I made in collaboration with the General Assembly. And those decisions are now the responsibility of someone else. You know me, you know what I've said in the past. The election was held. I didn't get the majority of the votes. And so the responsibility now belongs to others to accept the burden and to serve the people.
Are you a little surprised? $400 million for this train seems to be going down without much of a fight or much conversation from the incoming governor.
It is one of the most disappointing things that the governor-elect has decided, because I don't really understand it. I've sent a letter in response to the letter that he sent to me. It was a letter that I spent a lot of time formulating because I wanted to lay out as clearly as I could the rationale for moving forward and for using these resources to create jobs. These resources will not be used to reduce the deficit, the national deficit. They will be used by some other state to create jobs for the people in some other state, to build passenger rail service for people in some other state. And it troubles me, and I would not be telling you the truth if I said otherwise. It troubles me that this resource that will never be available in the future. This is a one-time opportunity for Ohio to establish a vital infrastructure in rail service while improving the freight system. I think if this money is returned, it will never be available to Ohio in the future. And as I've said, I believe the developing passenger rail system will bypass our state, and that will be hugely detrimental. That's why it bothers me. It doesn't bother me because it was my idea. It bothers me because I think it's going to deprive Ohio of something that could make our state a stronger state.
There's been a lot of talk about this project being too slow. In your view, and you talked about this somewhat in your letter today,
Yeah.
When would Ohio have what is truly considered to be high-speed rail if they moved ahead with this project now?
Well, if you're talking about high speed in terms of what's available in some other countries, I can't answer that. But I can tell you that if you look at the history of rail development across the country, it has developed incrementally. And I try not to just use anecdotal information or supposition in making the claims that we've made. We've tried to go to those who are in the best position to make informed decisions and to provide informed analysis of what we could expect if we moved forward. And I think it has, it has been a consensus that this rail service would be utilized by significant numbers of Ohioans. The construction would provide a lot of jobs. Development would occur. I mean, Forest City has been planning a major development around the Riverside area. I've seen the drawings and the diagrams that were put together. I doubt if that kind of development will occur if this service is not implemented. So I just think it's really tragic. I think it's tragic for our state. It's going to deprive us of a lot of jobs, of a lot of economic opportunity, of a vital infrastructure. And I don't understand why. As I said, the fear for the subsidy that's going to be available or needed going forward, I think is relatively modest, considering the fact that I think our total transportation allocations this year approach $2 billion. We don't think that the budget would be impacted for several years in terms of requiring any general revenue funds. So it's a sad decision for me. Because I think it's wrong for Ohio. But
concerned that some of your executive orders, for instance, your prescription drug task force, will not be upped with the new governor?
Well, I saw Governor-elect Kasich as he was speaking to some of you in a gaggle, and he indicated that those executive orders were being looked at. I have no reason to believe that the drug prevention task force executive order would be something that he would not follow through with, but that will be his decision, certainly.
Your order on non-discrimination on sexual orientation, he hasn't said what he'll do, but what would be your sales pitch? Why should that be read? Why is that so important?
Well, I may be wrong, but I believe he answered a question by the Columbus Dispatch earlier in which he indicated that he would continue that. I might be wrong, but I think, Joe's here, he can check that out. So, I would hope he would, but, and I thought I understood that he had already made that commitment, but I'm unsure about that, so don't hold me to it.
Today he announced the 7th white male